The focus of this year's World Menopause Day is to provide women with reliable information that enables them to make informed health decisions during this transition. Menopause hormone therapy is recognized as the most effective method for managing menopausal symptoms while also offering additional health advantages. For more insights, we're now joined by Dr. Judith Carter, who's a member of the South African Menopause Society. Doc, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this evening. Now, as a representative of SAMS, can you explain the significance of World Menopause Day and also just the importance in terms of raising awareness about menopause-related issues within our country?
Well, I think the problem with menopausal women is that, I think it's a part of society that doesn't get the respect and that it deserves. Once women are finished having babies, perhaps we're not as, we don't get the same attention that reproductive age women do from a contraceptive point of view, from a having babies point of view. So our society is really to raise awareness and to make people understand what an important and difficult transition the menopause can be for women, and how it doesn't need to be that as difficult as it can be for some women who are very, very symptomatic and not able to fulfill their normal roles in their lives because of the menopausal symptoms that they suffer from. Because HRT has had quite a checkered past. There's been a lot of misinformation about it, and many women are very scared to use hormone therapy. So we are here to educate the public and to educate healthcare providers about the benefits of hormone therapy and its safety in really the vast majority of perimenopausal and early menopausal women.
So we will get into more of a discussion around the hormone therapy, but I just want us to discuss some of the common misconceptions, especially with what you've just said, Doc. Let's talk about the stigmas surrounding menopause that maybe your society aims to address during this day, and what strategies are in place to educate the public about these issues.
Well, I think that, menopause is really not spoken about. It is really something that is kept behind closed doors. It's not discussed out in the open. Certain societies, certainly in the first world, do not really, there is ageism is an issue. People are not given the respect that they have earned as they age. And I think this is a big problem in modern society. We can look to more traditional societies who have a lot more respect for men and women as they age as examples. But certainly the first world influence is that once you're beyond a particular age, you're kind of not as important anymore. And the thing is that women are going to be spending more than a third of their lives in the menopause because so many of us are living older and older these days. And women, having taken the opportunities that have been offered to them and now being at the head of boardroom tables, running their own businesses, etc., really can't afford to be debilitated by menopausal symptoms that affect their ability to function and affect their ability to do what it is that they've been doing all their lives.
So what would be considered... Okay, yes, you may continue, Doc.
So really our role is to educate the public and healthcare professionals to try and destigmatize menopause, for women to talk about it so that they can realize they're not alone and that there is a lot that can be done to help them.
So at what age would one consider it normal or standardized for them to start experiencing menopausal symptoms?
So the average age of menopause is anywhere between 48 to 52 years of age. But anywhere from 45 to 55 is perfectly normal for that last menstrual period to happen. But often perimenopausal symptoms will precede that final menstrual period by several years. And the menopausal symptoms, the perimenopausal symptoms, hot flushes, night sweats, poor mood, poor sleep, brain fog, may come well before a woman experiences her last menstrual period. So ideally, we want to be able to help women even in that perimenopausal phase before they reach the last menstrual period, if their symptoms are such that they feel they would benefit from hormone therapy. We don't want to pathologize menopause. I mean, menopause is a perfectly natural phase of life. We're all going to go through it, and there is nothing wrong with going through it naturally. But for women who are very symptomatic, there is no need to suffer in silence because there are options available to women.
Speaking of those options, Doc, I mean, the menopausal hormonal therapy, speak to us in terms of what does it entail? What are its benefits? Is it accessible in public health facilities?
So when we look at the benefits of menopausal hormone therapy, primarily it's going to be for the relief of menopausal symptoms. So for hot flushes, night sweats, poor sleep, poor mood, brain fog, tiredness, dry vagina, poor libido. Those are all the very common symptoms of the menopause. And that's primarily the reason why we would give women hormone therapy. But there are other benefits to be derived. It protects the bones from osteoporosis. It protects the heart from heart attacks, the brain from dementia, the colon from colon cancer. So there is a lot of additional benefit that a woman who's using it for menopausal symptoms may derive by using hormone therapy. There's a window of opportunity in which using hormone therapy is going to give you a lot of bang for your buck, so a lot of benefit with very little risk. And that is going to be in the perimenopausal phase and for about a decade thereafter. We always must make sure that women use estrogen and progesterone together if they still have a uterus. It isn't safe to just use estrogen alone unless you have had a hysterectomy. So that's always very important to understand. And then in terms of the risk factors, those have been completely overstated in years past, making women very fearful of a risk of breast cancer and a risk of heart disease, which is a matter of fact a fallacy. You're protected from heart disease by hormones. Breast cancer, unfortunately, is a very common problem in our modern society. 1 in 8 of us is going to get a breast cancer, and HRT doesn't really cause breast cancers. It's more of a fertilizer. So if you're one of those 8 that is going to get the breast cancer and you happen to be on hormone therapy at the time, it will grow faster. But that's why it's so important to have mammograms before you start hormone therapy and to have them every year or 2 while you're on hormone therapy. And if we follow those guidelines, we know from our data that women who are on hormone therapy get their breast cancers picked up much earlier than women who are not on hormone therapy. So unfortunately, breast cancer certainly is a concern for all of us, but hormones are not they're not as bad as they have been portrayed to be in the last, in the early 2000s when the WHI trial came out that caused all the concern in the lay media.
Right. And what role do lifestyle changes and just a holistic approach play in managing menopause and those symptoms?
So I think it doesn't matter what the discussion is from a health point of view. There is always a role for lifestyle management. There's no doubt that hormone therapy is not a magic elixir that is going to solve all of your problems without lifestyle adjustments. It's very important that people exercise, that they eat well, that they make sure they're getting sufficient sleep, that they are practicing mindfulness and looking after their mental health. Those are the very cornerstones of every aspect of health care. And certainly using hormone therapy does not mean you get a free pass and you don't have to do any of those things. And for those women that choose not to use hormone therapy, they can still protect their hearts, protect their brains by all of those good lifestyle measures that we should all be doing. But it's nice to know that there is this additional tool in our armamentarium that can be used for women who are keen from a menopause point of view.
And of course, in order for you to be able to maintain that lifestyle, you also need a very good support system. So how can family members and friends best support women experiencing menopause as well as the workplace? Because I feel that we sort of sometimes exclude the workplace from these support structures.
That is absolutely true. I think so many women feel like when they're in their midlife and these symptoms come, they often feel like they don't recognize themselves, they don't recognize their bodies, they feel like they're in somebody else's body. And people often will not take that seriously enough. Family members will, it's a standing joke, mom is in a bad mood again, But I think the thing is, we've got to raise awareness. People have to talk about it. Women have to be able to talk about it to family members, because at the end of the day, there is a lot of ignorance about this. And it's the same in the workplace. The only way I think we are going to win on that score is for women themselves to take charge of the situation and not be afraid to discuss it, to have those difficult conversations in places of importance like the workplace and in the family.
All right, Dr. Judith Carter, thank you so much for your insights and for joining us this evening. That's Dr. Judith Carter, a member of the South African Menopause Society, talking to us on World Menopause Day. Well, we'll be back with more after this, so do stay with us.